everyone, this is Wolfychu. Before we start, I want to talk to you guys about something. It's this app called Qyt that lets you collect stickers, gifts, cards, and even 3D figures for your phone. They have a huge selection from all different kinds of fandoms like Five Nights at Freddy's, Rick and Morty, Marvel, Adventure Time, and much, much more. And it's all completely free. You can trade stickers with your friends and even send them in text and messages to other people. There'll be more about this app at the end of the video. I did a video a while ago talking about how awkward my time in primary school was, and well, turns out my high school years weren't all that much better. I've had lots of embarrassing moments throughout my life, and high school in particular was no exception. Let me tell you some of them. You know how everyone has those nightmares in school that maybe one day they might show up to class wearing really weird clothes, or just their underwear, or even no clothes at all? Yeah, well, something like that kind of happened to me once. One time at school, my class decided that they wanted to have a pajama day. Since I was so shy back then, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to come to school in my pajamas. It seemed kind of embarrassing. But my friend insisted that I should do it, just because if I didn't, I'd be the only one in the entire class to not be wearing pajamas. I really didn't want to stand out like that and be the boring one of the year, so the next morning I put on my shoes and I walked to school in my pajamas. It felt really awkward to be walking around outside in my pajamas. I felt like everybody was staring at me. I also didn't know if the people from other classes knew about the pajama day since it was only my year that was doing it. When I got to school, I kind of waited out of sight for everybody else to go inside so I could sneak in with as little people seeing me as possible. I was moving down those hallways like a ninja, avoiding every single person that I saw. I knew I'd be fine once I was in the classroom with all of the other people in their pajamas. Then I got to my classroom and I ran straight inside. But then I realized that something wasn't right. I looked around and realized that not one other person was wearing their pajamas. I stood there frozen, not knowing what to do, while everybody else just started to laugh at me. It turned out that everybody decided to back out of pajama day at the last minute, and nobody told me. So I was the only one who turned up to school in my pajamas. And to make it worse, I remember my pajamas were really dorky looking as well. And that's not even where that story ends, because on the same day, since I was embarrassed about being the only one wearing pajamas, I wanted to get changed as soon as I could. The bathroom was full of people. The only stall available was the one at the end with the broken lock. I didn't really want to use that one, but since I didn't want to stand in the middle of a busy bathroom in my pajamas, I decided to just go in there anyway. I started to get changed and everything was fine, until I noticed footsteps coming towards this side of the bathroom. Then all of a sudden the door swung open and my worst fears had been realized. A girl was standing in the door looking right at me. I didn't know what to do. I started to freak out and she just ran away. I was so embarrassed I wanted to cry. I hurried up to get the rest of my clothes on and rushed out of that bathroom as fast as I could, just hoping that nobody else had seen what happened. As soon as I got to my next lesson and thought that I could finally forget about it, I realized that the exact same girl was in this class. I could feel her staring at me for the entire lesson. And that's not even where the embarrassing stories end. Do any of you remember Heelys? I used to love them. It was always so much fun to skate around on them everywhere I went. I did have a few bad falls in them though. Like this one time in PE where I don't remember exactly what we were doing, but we were coming out one by one to the front of the class to do some kind of jumps. I was wearing my Heelys that day, but it was the kind where the wheel was kind of tucked in neatly to the shoes, so you could still use them as ordinary runners. They did make a lot of noise when I ran in them though. Anyway, when it was my turn to go up to the front of the class, I was feeling confident because I thought I was actually pretty good at doing different kinds of jumps. So I bent down and jumped up as high as I could and then went for the perfect landing. But as soon as I hit the ground, I felt my feet slip from underneath me because of the wheels in my shoes, and I had what was probably the most dramatic looking fall anyone in my class had ever seen, right down onto my butt. Just picture Picture a cartoon character slipping on a banana peel, because that's probably exactly what I looked like. I remember it would hurt to sit down for like 2 days after that happened as well. I also never wore my Heelys on PE days ever again. And there's some of my embarrassing high school stories. I have a lot more stories like this, so let me know if you'd like to see more. My boyfriend just recently posted a brand new fully animated music video on his channel. It's animated by Jinja Ninja, and you can even find me hiding somewhere in the video. There's a link to it in the description down below, so be sure to check it out. Also, if you're interested in the app Quid that I talked about at the beginning of the video, be sure to check it out. If you're into cartoons and pop culture, or just like collecting and trading things, then this app will be perfect for you, because there's so many sets of stickers to complete. Not to mention there's new stuff released every day too. It has such a big variety of stickers, there's really something for everyone. This app is totally free to download, the link is in the description down below. Thank you for watching, bye!